Hello, everybody. My name is Alexis. I'm an entrepreneur, speaker, and author of the book A Journey into Truth, Unveiling Life's Secrets for Truth Seekers. And you are watching the Vibrate to Create YouTube channel. And on this channel, I talk about life, philosophy, meaning, art, spirituality, metaphysics, and so much more. If you're interested in topics like these, then click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified of when I post new videos so you never miss a video. Thank you for being a part of my journey. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Of creating, there would be no moving towards something. And so I like being able to have my hands because I like to dance with my hands. It's like I'm doing interpretive dancing here. So anyways, the point is, hello everybody! So today I'm filming a few different videos at a time, and I just filmed a video about skepticism and spirituality, and right now I actually want to do a reaction video. I haven't done a reaction video in quite a while, and I've gotten requests to do reaction videos with Sadhguru. So I'm gonna do a reaction video with Sadhguru today, and also I'm very intuitive, and I like to just follow my instincts and where I feel to go next, and I feel like this is what I want to do today. So I'm a very go with the flow kind of person, I think. So today we're going to be reacting to Sadhguru. Thank you for joining me. I hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so before I begin here, I wanted to preface this by saying why I want to do reaction videos, why I add these particular spiritual leaders or teachers into my videos. And the particular reason that I decided to start making these videos was because I really wanted to bring more awareness to the many teachers that are out there, because in my book I talk about how I was spiritually seeking. I was looking for truth. I was looking for the meaning of life. And so these were many of the teachers that I really started to watch when I was starting out on my own journey. And so to me, it's about giving access to the many different teachers or ideas, and also adding in my own awarenesses, my own things that I learned along my journey as I was exploring and searching and learning about these different things. So to me, it's very much about creating open-mindedness in others, creating open-mindedness when it comes to cultural differences, I guess you could say, because we are all so different based on how we grew up, what our parents were like, how we were treated by the people around us when we were younger, just all these different things that happened to lead us to become who we are. And many times when we become so identified with that identity or who we think we are, it can lead to a lot of hate towards others. It can lead to a lot of pain caused in the world. And so I really wanted to talk a lot. So that's why I wanted to bring these different teachers in, is because creating different awarenesses, creating more open-mindedness, and creating more connection between humans who are a little bit different, or humans who are culturally not the same, but are at their essence the same. Obviously, we're all spirit, we're all consciousness. And so yeah, I wanted to bring in Sadhguru again today. I haven't done Sadhguru reaction in quite a while. And when I first began doing the reactions, I kind of talked about how I wasn't super keen on his teachings. And I was kind of learning along with you guys who are watching this with me, learning from him. And a lot of the things that I've seen from him are very much what I've come to understand on my spiritual journey. So being able to kind of bridge the two and see how it's almost like we're on the same kind of parallel lines, right? Almost like understanding the same things as I was going on my own journey of discovery and going on my own awarenesses. And I've done reaction videos to Muji. I did one to Swami Sarva Priyananda. I did one to Teal Swan. And Teal Swan, that is a big... There was obviously some controversy that came up with her just recently. And as I was watching that documentary, because I did watch the Deep End documentary, as I was watching it, I was like, it's completely colored in a way to make her look completely bad. It's like very obvious what the intention was by the people and the group who decided to make that film. And then I learned a little bit about it after the fact when she kind of talked about it and was saying how they were with her for 3 years and they took all the worst parts and they spliced different things together to make situations look way worse than what they actually were. And to me, I was like, I knew that from the moment I started watching that film, like the way that they added the music and the way that they did all these different things, and really to paint a bad light on her specifically. I think it was very intentional, and you could tell what their biases were when they decided to make that film, which is unfortunate, that we have to protect ourselves from people who have bad intentions, and to be more aware of what people's intentions are. It's a sad thing in life, but I guess it's necessary to take certain precautions and awarenesses. And also, on top of that, everybody is a human, no matter how famous they are, no matter how many followers they have or what their qualifications are. People are human, and we all experience things like anger, and we experience things like sadness, and we experience ups and downs of life, and we're all human. And so seeing that and seeing she's a normal human being, like, of course she would get angry about certain things that she's very passionate about, whether that's her career of helping other people and having passion and boundaries. I think especially as women, people are like really upset when you give your boundaries and say, no, I'm not okay with that. At least in my experience, I've started to kind of step more into my power and to say, no, I don't accept that, or no, I don't want to be treated like that. And it's kind of jarring for some people who are not used to women standing up for themselves or saying no. So that doesn't give, excuse to be mean to people, but it is very mean to the self if you're willing to give up all of you and to give everything of you. And it also leads to so much resentment if you're giving everything and not giving yourself something back. So that's beside the point. We're going to be reacting to Sadhguru today. It's been 7 minutes and I've already kind of gone in. So when I edit the video, I'll put in the beginning where the Sadhguru reaction begins. So let's get into it. Let's see what comes up today. The moment you identify something as good or bad, you're just dividing the world. Sadhguru.
In this world, good people are suffering more or bad people are suffering more? Good people are always suffering more. Yes? People who think they are good, they are simply a suffering. Isn't it so? Please look at this. Now, first of all, how did you become good? He's not okay, she's not okay, he's not okay, he's not okay, he's not okay, she's not okay. Compared to all these people, I am a good man. From where did you get the idea that you're good? Tell me. You have compared yourself with lots of people and you labeled everybody as bad. And now you feel good. Somebody who thinks he is very good, in his mind, nobody in the world is okay. The more good you think you are, nobody is okay for you. Is that so? Isn't it so? People who believe they are very good people, nobody wants to go anywhere near them because they're so good, no life can happen. Your goodness is only in comparison with something else, isn't it? Yes? And you establishing yourself as good and making all these people are totally wretched people, then I am a really good man, isn't it? Isn't it so? Good people won't get anywhere, either in this world or in the other world. Can you take a joke? Do you have good digestion? Huh? I'm not talking about that digestion. One day, in his previous life, Shankaran Pillai was a good man. After a brief illness, he died. Being a good man, he naturally went to heaven. He landed up at heaven. There at the reception committee of angels, opened his account book. Page after page, good deed, good deed, good deed, good deed, good deed. Cover to cover, only good deed. Then the angels were in confusion. Then they came to Shankaran Pillai and said, Mr. Pillai, there's a little problem here. He asked, what is the problem? He said, the angel said, see here we have various kinds of accommodation in heaven, various levels of accommodation. One bad deed means highest heaven, sea front view. 2 bad deeds, next level of accommodation. 3 bad deeds, next level of accommodation, like this. But no bad deed, we don't have such a place. We really don't know what to do with you. You are the first man to come like this. Shankaran Pillai thought, what nonsense. In the world, nobody wanted to come near me because I was such a good man. I lived with the hope of getting to heaven, and even here problem. Then the angels had a discussion and they arrived at a conclusion. They said, don't you worry, Mr. Pillai, we have found a solution. Your body is still intact there. We'll give you 3 hours of life. Just commit one bad deed. We'll put you in the highest heaven. Nothing is lost. Lo, Shankaran Pillai became alive here. Then he sat there thinking how to commit a bad deed. An hour and a half passed away. See, he's not like you, he has no practice. After an hour and a half, he remembered, in the neighborhood, there is a woman who is well beyond her prime, who's been casting inviting glances at him. He being a good man, he never looked that way. Now he thought, okay, adultery is a bad deed. Because after all, he's going to do whatever he is going to do just to go to heaven. So he went looking for the woman. He went and knocked on her door. She came and opened the door. When she opened the door, Shankaran Pillai said, I want you. Why, Mr. Pillai, just yesterday evening they told me, you're on your deathbed. What is this? He said, it doesn't matter, I want you. He went in, nature took over, things happened between them. He doesn't want to die in her house. Time is running out, so he told her, I need to go. And he came to the door. The woman came to see him off, and she said, Mr. Pillai, do you know what a good deed you have done for me today? One more good deed. What to do? So good people will neither make it here nor there. It's not your goodness which liberates you. Your goodness is only in comparison with somebody else. Your goodness being in comparison with somebody else, it's not about goodness, it's a kind of sickness. It's just like, right now, people are going about like this. They are happy. They don't know what joy is. Their happiness is just that they have things that other people don't have. Isn't it? Now let's say you are all very hungry, but my stomach is full. And I feel so happy that nobody has food, but at least I have something to eat. Is this happiness or sickness? Humanity is suffering from the sickness which is passing off as happiness for most people.
It causes you to really question yourself, like listening to a lot of these teachers, to really question your actions and your intentions in the world and who you think you are or how good you think you are. I think that was my thing as I was listening, is really self-reflection. I do my best. I'm still human and I make mistakes and I mess up, and sometimes I don't realize it until much later in life, like, oh, that was wrong. I was wrong for that. I don't realize until much later, or until somebody like tells me straight up, like, hey, that's wrong, or hey, you're taking too much, or hey, you need to hold more weight, or hey, you need to do this. And sometimes it takes life circumstances for you to really be able to reflect and understand the part that you play. But anyways, that's beside the point. Nobody is perfect. No matter who they are, no matter what kind of teacher they are, no matter what, we've talked about this before, nobody is perfect. And the point is, and I talked about it in my book too, let's see, good and bad. Yes, I'm thinking of a specific one here that I will read to you. I have the book here on hand. Okay. So, yes, this is it. So this is on page 92 in chapter, what number chapter is this? This book is so beautiful. I don't like sit there and look at it every single day. So when I look back at it and I look at it, I'm like, man, I did that all by myself. Okay. So this is chapter 4, the eternal process of evolvement. So it says, many people I have met along this path of unfoldment have talked to me about an ancient Chinese parable. A young man loses his horse. As a response to this incident, everyone around consoles him except for his father. He instead suggests that maybe it was a good thing it happened to his son. After some time passes, the initially lost horse comes back with a group of many other horses. Onlookers tell the young man how great it was that this happened to him. What a lucky young boy for having lost one horse and then gaining a whole herd of them. His father suggests that maybe this would instead bring bad luck. The boy goes riding on one of these new horses, he falls, and he breaks a leg. Again, the onlookers console him. How unlucky! He hurt his leg. Once again, the father tells him that maybe it's a good thing it happened. A war breaks out, and the able men must go to war. The son and father don't have to go into this war because of the son's broken leg. Yet again, these men are seen as lucky. Just as the good things that happen to us bring bad things, the bad things that happen to us can bring good things. And so this can be seen in many ways. We can talk about it in many different ways. But in this particular conversation where we're talking about good and bad, I think this is very relevant to the conversation, this little story or parable that I talked about. It's illustrating how the two are synonymous with each other. And if I look back and I look at my mistakes of when I was a teenager and the choices I was making in that state of mind and who I was when I was in that state, I can say that was bad. Like, I was bad. But now, as I went along this whole long journey, and, there was so much suffering there. And as I went along the journey and I, matured and I gained wisdom from people who were much older than me, I found really good role models and people who really cared about my development and wanted to help me to become a better person. If I wasn't in that state, I could never have come here. I could never have been brought to this particular state where I am talking to you guys with my book, with my teachers, with my trainings in public speaking, with everything, with all of the beautiful things that I've experienced and all the beautiful people that I've ever met on my journey. None of it would be possible without the bad. And so the point here is to see things as not so black and white, and this is a terrible thing and there's nothing good that can come from this. We can see it as like, well, maybe it's actually leading us into brand new territory, into more growth in life. Or maybe it's a really good thing that relationship didn't work out. But good and bad, when we talk about what Sadhguru was saying, they are comparisons, right? So he was saying it's a comparison, and so it causes a division. And when we see ourselves as only good, we're not able to actually see what really goes on. Like this morning, actually. So it happened this morning. This woman so I was driving in my car, right? And this woman was behind me, and I really needed to get over because I needed to be able to make a U-turn. So I needed to get into the left turning lane, and I needed to get over quick. And there was a space, and the woman that was kind of behind, she did not want to let me in. She was very much like stingy with the road, so she like sped up, and she really didn't want to let me in. And like it made me upset, and I was like, what the heck? And so I finally I went a little bit faster, and I was able to get in just on time so I could be able to get into that lane. But I was so upset. I was like, why would you not let me in? Like, that's so stingy. And then I was like, you're so mean. My camera only films for 30 minutes, so I have to restart it. So anyways, I was saying in my mind, I was like, what a mean woman. Like, you're a bad person. And this was just a knee-jerk reaction, and I'm very much a self-reflective person, so I kind of think about things, and I think about myself and what part did I play in that scenario. And so I went to the gym, and I did my gym, and then I was coming to the studio. After that, after I got ready, and on the freeway, the middle lane was closed, and so there was 2 lanes on either side. So the middle lane was closed, and so people in the middle lane were having to get over and get over and get over and get over. And I noticed myself not wanting to let somebody in because I was like, well, you should have planned it. Like, you're taking advantage of this space. Like, you're just cutting everybody. And I like sped up, and I was like, I don't want to let you in. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I just did what that woman did. And I like had a hard look at myself, and I was like, whoa, wow, I'm not a good person either. Like, we all have tendencies. We all have things within us that are not good. I don't know. I guess I could say I've never met somebody who was a perfect human being, who didn't have a moment where it was like, I'm frustrated, or just in their human experience where they were like, oh, I'm a perfect mother, and I never get angry at my kids. I never get frustrated because I'm I'm enlightened, and I'm a zened out, and I never get angry. Like, to me, that's actually very much indicative of dissociation and not actually realizing the gravity of what is going on in the world and what's like actually here. Sometimes it can be a way to disassociate from emotion because emotion is very hard to experience. And when we're really able to honor our anger, to honor the frustration, to really like sit in it, and that doesn't mean take it out on people, but to really sit with it and see it as that's okay too. It's okay that I'm really angry. It's okay to be that, because when we hold that inside, when we allow it to just sit in our body, or we push it down into the subconscious mind and we just don't even touch it, and we don't even allow ourselves to feel anger, it will fester. It'll sit in the body. It can lead to disease. It can lead to so many different things that are not good because we're not willing to honor that parts of ourselves. And it has to do with upbringing. It has to do with societal norms. Well, we talked about the shadow side in one of my videos. Dark. It's called Harness Your Darkness. That's the video. Harness Your Darkness. But really honoring those darker parts of ourselves allows for more wholeness, because it allows us to love even the darker parts. And then that way the darker part doesn't feel like I'm left alone here. And so I have to be bigger. I have to be louder so that she can hear me, so that he can hear me, so that I can be expressed. I have to like create a disease in the body. I have to, just all these different little ways that it can come out in separate ways because we haven't honored it back there. That's probably where the anger about the car thing happened. Anyways, so the point is honoring all of it, honoring the sadness, honoring the anger, and allowing it to be there, because nobody is perfect. Even myself, I am absolutely not perfect. And I think, I don't think you would want to be, really, because you would have no room for growth. You would have no room for becoming a better person and no room for changing your life. And if you didn't experience something where it was like, I hate my job, I hate what I'm doing, I hate the person who's managing me, I hate how they make me feel, I hate how they don't value my work, that would not, if you didn't experience that, you wouldn't be able to experience something different and love it so much more. And I think in the book, man, there's so many good little snippets in here. I'm thinking here, I'm going to have to stop filming pretty soon here, but where is it? I forget exactly where it is in the book, but the particular like premise was when you're really hungry and you're just thinking like, I want a hamburger right now. I want a hamburger. And so you spend the whole day just thinking about this hamburger, how much it would be so good to eat that hamburger and what it would taste like and what you would put on it. And then finally, after being so hungry for so long, you finally get your hamburger and you're like, oh my God, this is so good. And you just eat it and you're like, oh, so satisfying, right? But like, let's say you always had access to the hamburger and you were always like eating this hamburger, and over time it lost its novelty and you're just like, I wish I could have something different. Like, that's evolvement, right? And also sometimes that not having something and sometimes that missing something is actually what is leading to the most satisfying moments, because it's like, I wanted this for so long and now it's here. And you're just like, you hear the angels, what is that, the halo, no, the harps playing, and you're like, ah, ah, ah. And it's like heaven just opened up. Sometimes that hunger for something, even in career, that hunger for wanting to be in a certain spot, wanting to be at a certain place, just that motion forward of making little steps to get there, and that motion forward of like that dream of like, ooh, I'm gonna get there one day. And then you just, that movement forward, that movement of wanting to get towards something where you're not currently at, to me, that's where a lot of the joy is. That's where a lot of the excitement in life is the not having, but the moving towards, the evolvement. It's like the growth. Like in the book I talk about, it's like a flower who is blooming. The process of finally getting to the state of bloom. And then, just the gradual movement forward of creation. And it's almost like we are that. And we are creating our lives in that fashion, in that manner. So when we're moving towards something and we're moving towards like, ooh, a different place, it's like the flower. It's like finally growing. And then finally you get to the place where you want to go and it's like bloom. And then eventually the flower dies, obviously. The flower dies and then more flowers come in and then you have new ideas and you're like, what can I do next? What do I want next? So it's evolvement. It's like, that is, to me, that is one of the biggest meanings or purposes of life, is to never be finished, to never be done, to never be like let's say your goal is, I want to get to 1 million subscribers on my YouTube channel. Let's say that's your goal. And so you work and you go and you get there and you're getting there, you're at 100 subscribers, and then you're like, okay, but I still want 1 million. And then you go and you work and you go. And then finally, like, all that satiation, all that, like, I want the hamburger. And then finally you're like, I have the hamburger. And it's like 1 million subscribers. And it's like, I get to eat the hamburger now because now I'm at 1 million subscribers. But then you can't just stay there. You can't, then you'd be done. Then there would be no movement forward. There would be no creating for the sake of creating. There would be no moving towards something. And so I like being able to have my hands because I like to like dance with my hands. It's like I'm doing interpretive dancing here. So anyways, the point is movement forward, and that leads to such a fulfilled life. And to never get finished and be like, once I get to 1 million subscribers, I will be done for the rest of my life. It's like, no, I'll get there and then we'll see what comes next. And moving with life in that manner, I think it's very natural because that's the nature of creation. That's why I called that chapter the eternal process of evolvement, because you will be eternally moving forward, eternally changing, eternally growing. Your taste will eternally grow, and you will eternally want new things as you grow. I think I'm gonna leave that there. This has been quite a long video. So I hope you guys got something from today's video. Thank you for joining me. Before I leave, I want to bring you guys into the conversation because I want this to be a two-way street where it's like people are having dialogue or conversation or communicating about their lives. So I would love to hear from you. Talk to me about where you currently are in your life, where your current desires are to go, because we just talked about that, where your current desires are, what your next big thing, your next hamburger will be. Talk to me about that. So like, let's say you're a father of 2 kids and your next goal in life is you want to get a Harley Davidson motorcycle, and that's your hamburger. And one day you're gonna get that hamburger. I want to hear about your dreams, your hopes, and your desires, and the things that you're looking forward to in life. So please do leave that in the comments, and I will see it, because I'm a solo woman. I do the videos, I do the recordings, I do the lighting, I do the editing, I do the filming, the person who's behind the camera, I do everything. So let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.